Hello, hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay. Well, let's learn English together. Welcome everyone. How are you all today? Are you all feeling great? Do you all feel fantastic? Is your life a cascading waterfall of fun, games and TV? Yes? Good. Okay, so now that all the Hare Krishnas are cursing your luck, the fact that you've found Nirvana before them. Yes, the second album was great, wasn't it? And where did you find Nirvana, can I ask? Oh, of course, it was in a CD shop, wasn't it? Okay, great. Well, like I said, I'm glad that you found Nirvana. Okay, moving swiftly along. So, where are we? Hang on, I'm lost. What are we doing? What did we do yesterday? Well, yesterday, I went to the pub with my wife. Oh, I see. What did we do yesterday in the lesson? Sorry, I was thinking about something else. Hang on a minute, let me concentrate. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Sorry, couldn't resist. Okay, yesterday, all my sorry, now. How did we get around this problem last time? Does anyone remember? Yes? What? I said what? Ah, yes, you're right. I remember now. Okay, well, that's what we'll do now too. So, the day before today. Ah, that's it. Okay, so, the day before today, what did we do? Who remembers? What? Oh, did we? Are you sure? Yes? Well, okay, if you say so. Hang on, I think you might be right. I'm starting to recall something. I haven't got total recall, but it's close. Okay, so back to the day before today. So, what were we looking at? Oh, of course. We were looking at some sentences with prepositions, weren't we? Yes, we started checking the questions together, and then we had to stop because Enid came in. I remember it all now. I've got total recall. And no, I don't mean that awful film from 1990. Ugh, terrible. Anyway, I've got total recall. I remember everything. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get cracking. Come on, chop, chop. Okay, so we all remember that we finished the first one together as an example, don't we? Yes, but we didn't finish all of the other sentences, did we? No. So, let's quickly run through the ones we finished, and then we'll get stuck into the ones that we didn't do. Okay? Okay. Number 2, always wash your hands, you go to the toilet. Number 3, my visit to London. I met Paul McCartney. Number 4, I was talking to Paul McCartney. The Queen walked past. Number 5, we didn't speak. We were eating. Number 6, we didn't speak. The meal. Number 7, the Queen phoned. You were in the toilet. Number 8, the film was really boring. We left. The end. Number 9, I'm nervous. That's normal. Everyone's nervous. Exams. Okay. So, can you remember which ones we did yesterday? Well, we checked number 2. I remember that. Number 2 was similar to number 1, wasn't it? They were both talking about hygiene, about things being clean so that we can avoid diseases. So number 2 was always wash your hands after you go to the toilet. Fantastic. Great. Good advice, Kiddywinks. Okay. Now, we've all washed our hands and we're ready to get started on the rest of the questions, aren't we? Yes! Okay then, let's check number 3. During my visit to London, I met Paul McCartney. Good. And do we all remember why we use during and not the synonym while? Yes, that's right. We use during in this sentence because we can see that the preposition is followed by a noun. If the preposition is followed by a noun, then we use during. If, on the other hand, the preposition is followed by a verb, then we use what? That's right. If the preposition is followed by a verb, then we use while, not during. And that leads us right into number 4. This time, we're talking about 2 things happening at the same time. But here, we can see that the preposition is followed by a verb. So in this question, it's not during, it's while. While I was talking to Paul McCartney, the Queen walked past. Great! Wonderful! Macaroni and cheese from a can. Aha! It's followed by a verb. So what does that mean? Great! Right on the nose. If the preposition is followed by a verb, that means we have to use while. We didn't speak while we were eating. Fantastic! Okay. No time to dilly-dally. Let's get cracking. On to number 6. Aha! It's the same sentence, but with one slight difference. This time, the preposition is followed by a noun, isn't it? Yes, a meal is a noun, not a verb. So, what does this tell us? Yes, that's correct. This tells us that the preposition has to be during. So, we didn't speak during the meal. Brilliant. And now, yes, now, we've reached that point. The point where we get to see what the rest of the sentences are. Are you ready? Good. Let's have a gander at number 7. Aha! And it's about 2 things happening at the same time. So, we have to decide, is it during or is it will? Well, look at the sentence. Is there a verb or a noun following the preposition? It says you were. So, that's the past simple tense, isn't it? So, that's a verb, isn't it, Batman? Yes. Okay. So, which preposition is it? Yes, that's right. If the preposition is followed by a verb, then it's while. The Queen phoned while you were in the toilet. Wonderful! The Queen phoned you and I had to take a message because you were in the toilet. Unbelievable! Unflippin' believable! Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's just get on with the next sentence, shall we? Okay, it's number 8, and we're talking about a boring film. Now here, this film was so boring that we didn't wait until the film finished. We didn't wait until the end of the film. No, we got up when the film was still running and left the cinema. It was either that or we'd fall asleep. Okay, so what's the preposition? That's right, we left before the end. The film was really boring. We left before the end. All right, and now, yes, it's the ultimate question. It's the last question. So, let's have a look, shall we? It's 2 people talking. The first one says, I'm nervous. Actually, that's a good point. Do you all know what nervous means? When you're nervous or when you feel nervous, you don't feel comfortable. You feel a little bit scared, a little bit worried. Normally, people feel nervous before they do something for the first time. But when they do that thing more and more and more, it becomes easier for them. And then they're not nervous anymore. After the person becomes used to doing the task, then they calm down and become relaxed. The easiest way to think of nervous is to think about actors. The first time that the new play opens, the actors are all nervous. They're thinking, oh God, what if I forget what to say? Or what if I make a mistake? What if I fall over on stage and everyone laughs at me. But when the play starts, the actors remember their lines and then they start to enjoy themselves and their nervousness disappears. Okay, maybe you're not an actor, so you can't imagine the feeling of nervousness, but think about other situations. There are lots of situations where normal people, like us, not like actors, can also feel nervous. Think back to when you were at school. Do you remember the feeling when there was someone in your class that you really liked? Yes. Now, did you ever ask them to come with you for a coffee or a Coke or a beer in the pub or something? Maybe you asked them if they wanted to come to the cinema or the disco with you. Now, think back. Think back to how you felt when you were getting ready to speak to them, when you were getting ready to ask them out. Think about your hands. Think about your palms. They were sweaty, weren't they? Think about your forehead. There was probably sweat on your forehead too, wasn't there? And think about when you spoke. Did your voice sound normal? Perhaps you were so nervous you started to stutter or stammer. Would you like to come to the cinema with me? Now, your palms were sweaty and your forehead was covered in sweat. And if you had trouble speaking, then all of these things were because you were nervous. You didn't know what they were going to say, and you were a little bit afraid of them saying something like, "No! You smell! Smelly! Go away!" So you were nervous. But when you started talking to them, and when they started talking to you, you realized that they were normal and they thought you were normal. And so your nervousness disappeared. Your palms stopped sweating, your forehead dried up, and you stopped having problems speaking. Now, think about the first time you flew. Think about that for a moment. The first time you were on a plane and it took off. You probably felt nervous then too, didn't you? And that's completely normal. People often feel nervous when they're doing something for the first time. But then they do it again and again, and then it becomes normal. After a few times, you don't feel nervous. Of course, some people will always be nervous when they fly.
Push a button!
Okay, but hopefully you're not as nervous as that pilot. If we think about another situation when people normally feel nervous, then we could say something like a test or an exam or a driving test. Normally, people feel nervous before they have a test. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I don't pass the test? But normally, when you get into the test and start doing the test, you relax and you realize that everything's going to be fine. You'll be fine, just relax. Okay, and now it's definitely time for you to relax. We've come to the end of the lesson. Yes, that's right. We've used up our 15 minutes of English. So, if you want some more, you know what you'll have to do, don't you? Yes, that's right. You'll have to get onto the internet and go to the M5TV website, www.m5tv.hu. That's where you can revisit our old lesson, and that's where you can find the most important vocabulary. Okay, that's all from us. So relax for the rest of the day, if you can, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have fun. Don't be nervous. Relax and have fun instead. It's much more enjoyable. Okay, have fun, people. See you later. Bye.